You told yourself 5 more minutes. That was 40 minutes ago. You feel worse than when you picked up your phone. And yet you are still scrolling. This is not a discipline problem. This is not weakness. It is one of the most sophisticated psychological traps ever engineered, built deliberately, tested obsessively, and deployed at a scale that has never existed before in human history. And the people who built it knew exactly what they were doing. Here is the mechanism. Your brain runs on dopamine, and dopamine is widely misunderstood. Most people think it fires when something good happens. It does not. It fires in anticipation of a possible reward. The uncertainty is the trigger, not the outcome. The maybe. This is called a variable reward schedule. It is the same mechanism that makes slot machines the most addictive form of gambling ever invented. You pull the lever, sometimes nothing, sometimes something. The unpredictability is not a bug. It is the entire point, because a guaranteed reward produces a flat dopamine response. An unpredictable one produces a spike every single time you check. Now apply that to your phone. You open Instagram, maybe something interesting, maybe not. You refresh Twitter, maybe someone replied, maybe not. Every single scroll is a pull of the lever, and your brain fires dopamine on every single one, not because the content is good, but because it might be. And here is where it gets darker. Because this was not an accident. In 2017, a former vice president of growth at Facebook said publicly that the dopamine-driven feedback loops they created are destroying how society works. In 2018, a former president of Facebook said the platform was designed to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology. Not a critic, not a regulator. The man who helped build it, describing his own blueprint after he cashed out. They knew exactly what they were building. They A/B tested hundreds of variations to find the specific design that kept you inside the app the longest, and the version that won. The one you are using right now was the one most effective at keeping you pulling the lever. The doom-scrolling part has its own layer on top. Negative content, threat-related information, gets processed by the amygdala, your brain's threat detection system, and it has one simple rule. If something might be dangerous, do not look away until you know whether it is a threat. For most of human history, that was a survival advantage. You heard a noise in the bushes. You kept watching. Useful when the noise might be a predator. Catastrophic when the noise is an infinite algorithmic feed of curated outrage, designed to never resolve. Your amygdala cannot tell the difference. It just knows there are threats in the feed, and it will not let you look away until the threat is resolved. The threat is never resolved, because the algorithm's entire job is to make sure it never is. So you have a dopamine loop pulling you to check, a threat detection system keeping you watching, and an algorithm sophisticated enough to serve you exactly the content most likely to keep both systems firing at the same time. Against that combination, willpower is not a strategy. Willpower is a knife at a gunfight. So what actually works? Friction. The most effective intervention is making the app harder to access. Delete it from your home screen. Log out after every session. Adding 2 or 3 seconds of friction interrupts the automatic behavior before dopamine has already fired. That window is everything. Replacement, not removal. Telling yourself to just stop scrolling works about as well as telling yourself to just stop being hungry. The urge needs somewhere to go. A short walk, a specific playlist, anything that activates a different system. The goal is not suppression, it is redirection, scheduled consumption. Checking the news twice a day at fixed times produces almost identical information as checking it 40 times. The other 38 checks are pure anxiety with zero informational value. Treat news like a meal, not a tap. Your attention is the product. The feed is the factory floor. Every minute you spend scrolling is a minute of your cognitive life being converted into someone else's revenue. That is not a metaphor. That is the literal business model. So here is where I want to hear from you. Do you think this is A, a personal responsibility problem and people just need more discipline? B, a design problem that requires regulation because individuals cannot realistically opt out of systems engineered against them? Or C, just the new normal, and we have already lost this fight whether we admit it or not? Drop your answer in the comments because this one splits people almost perfectly down the middle.